Welcome, Yankees family. I'm your guy Gio, joined every week with my co-host Tyler. How you doing today?
Doing good so far.
Yeah, it's been a rough week. We are recording this as of July 31st. If this is your first time watching the show, do us a favor, leave a comment below on your thoughts of this shit show we call Yankees team. Please don't leave without hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoy Yankees content, I don't want to sugarcoat it much. This is a recap show. I really am not in the mood to do any Yanks recap, but we can touch it real quick. Tyler, what are your thoughts before we get into that? The Yankees week.
Uh, they won a game. Um, Rodon pitched. He didn't pitch bad, and also Garrett didn't pitch bad. But other than that, um, wasn't too pretty.
No. The Yankees played the Mets early in the week. Two games. That series they should have won both games. We'll start with game one. They lost 9-3. Domingo Herman was on the bump. He goes 6 innings, 7 hits, six earned runs, a walk, nine strikeouts, and three home runs. Everything was bad. Like starters were bad. The bullpen was bad. Yankees only get 5 hits again. Like I don't have words to describe how pathetic this lineup is.
Yeah, pitching's been solid all year, but for some reason there's been some random laughers,
Hmm.
and then they keep happening more frequently. And as soon as another team puts up two or three runs, the game's over.
Yeah, and that's actually an interesting stat. We'll get into it when we get to the Garrett Cole start. But this team is pitiful if they score three or less runs. They score four more runs. They're like 45-12. I think the Yes Network put up that graphic to try to make us feel better. That if the Yankees score 4 runs, they're a really good team. Well, they don't do it often. They don't do it often enough, and it's getting tiring. We're way past that point where you can say it's a small sample size where this team can turn it around, where wait till this guy gets back, wait till this guy gets back. We're at the point of no return. Like if we were going down a road and we're about to go off the hill, we are inches of falling down that hill, that cliff.
Yeah, it's not pretty. I've been a big supporter of a retool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have.
Um, and that's turned from retool to clean shop.
I wholeheartedly agree. If you guys are not following Tyler on Twitter, the Bleacher Creatures, he's posting constantly tons of great insight on Twitter. So give him a follow, definitely. Game two, there was a win, but it wasn't a win in my opinion. Carlos Rodon pitched 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He got the win. Only reason why we won that game is because the pitching actually did what they were supposed to do. But again, the offense is slim. They just got the prerequisite amount of hits and runs just to win. It's one of those situations where you look back and you're like, well, you never want to sit there and say, all right, a win is a loss, but a lot of these wins feel like losses, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like to see Carlos Rodon pitch well, but
Hmm.
it's the same theme over and over. And I know we talked last time about wanting to get so many different
Yeah.
bats and that lefties would do so much better. And then people are publishing articles saying the same thing.
Hmm.
And we're like, it's pretty obvious. And I thought it was pretty funny that I saw a tweet today, and it was the Yankees ranking compared to other teams, their ratio of lefties to righties,
Oh
and
boy.
it was first in the league in 2009,
Mm.
and then it just slowly just crept towards like the bottom of the league in the last like 5 years. It's like 27, 28.
And I don't understand that. And we're gonna touch on the whole philosophy of the Yankees and just everything this team has become. But just really quickly to touch on what you said, I don't understand where Cashman, because he's the architect. We have to remember he built this. When or why he will go away from the short porch in right field. Let's digress. Let's go back into this recap because I don't. I want to get into that and I want to get into it to detail because I'm hot today and I just want to get through all this recap stuff real quick because it's just that's part of our show and I'm really not. I don't want to keep talking about losses, but the Baltimore series recap comes. Judge is back. Great. Pisses me off that Peraza goes down for Judge when you had so many other options that can possibly go down. Other outfielders, really. The kid doesn't get a shot. We lose game one. Garrett Cole, 7 inning pitch, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 5 strikeouts, no home runs. We lose that game in extra innings. Santander hits a game-winning walk-off. What are your thoughts on that game? A lot of people, I see a lot of split takes on Twitter, but what are your thoughts on game one in Baltimore?
So it was what 0-0 when they went into like the ninth,
Yeah, the
right?
bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, Felix Bautista's coming in, so we don't have a chance this inning. And then he would probably also pitch the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we got to get him in the 10th. And, we didn't even make it to the 10th. But, um, Tommy Kahnle, love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He he's really became a one pitch pitcher with that changeup.
Mm-hmm.
Changeup's disgusting,
Yeah.
but you gotta he needs the like 95 plus still to just give him a different look and get him off balance. If it's just a changeup time after time.
Mm-hmm.
Santander kind of just gulped it out of there.
Yeah. I'm not mad that they walked us off. That's the benefit of being the home team in that situation. It's just that the Yankees just constantly can't hit with runners in scoring position. I've never seen a non-clutch team as the 2023 New York Yankees. They had plenty of opportunities to make this a laugher, to make this a 5-0 game. I have an interesting stat for you. Are you ready? And just to change topic.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The Yankees have lost 6 games in where Garrett Cole has allowed 3 runs or less. If they would have won any of those games, Garrett Cole's record would actually be 15-2 instead of 9-2. This is how
Wow.
incompetent this lineup is. When Cole Day, your ace, the $300 plus million man, is on the mound, you have to win those games. 6 games they've lost when he's thrown has allowed 3 runs or less, and I think only 1 or 2 of those games are he gave up 3 runs. It's mostly two-run games, 1-run games.
Yeah, he's been good. It's like the Yankees are like the Mets when DeGrom pitched amazing every time and couldn't score.
I'm at a loss for words. I started doing deep dives and started looking at how bad this offense is, and that pissed me off immediately. Just knowing that we wasted so many of Cole's starts, and he's gonna opt out. Like he has an opt out in 2024 after the 2024 season. And if I was Garrett Cole, why do I stay here? We've had what now? This is going to be his 3rd season here. 3 opportunities. We went to the playoffs every time he's been here, and we have gotten nowhere near close a World Series appearance, a pennant, nothing. He went to Houston for what was it, a season? And he went to the World Series. Why would he stay here with this shit show?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the right guy to answer that question.
I'm at a loss. So game two, we win. Whoop de doo. Aaron Judge looks great. First game, he's showing the plate discipline. First pitch he sees, he lines it hard, and then after that, they essentially pitched around him. And if this series wasn't any indication of how bad this offense is, I don't know how Brian Cashman's alarm bell didn't go off. They just pitched around Aaron Judge the entire first game. They didn't give him no opportunities to put anything in play, and and sat there and said, if anyone's going to beat us, it's going to be Rizzo or Stanton. It won't be Judge. Game two, Stanton actually did some damage, and then now they had to pitch to Judge. And you see what happens if you have competent hitters behind him. They have to pitch to Judge, and he went, what, 3 for 5 with a home run, a couple RBIs. You know, why are we still playing this game of waiting for these veteran players to pick it back up, to play to the back of the baseball card? So at a certain point, Father Time catches up with everybody, and this team is looking old.
Yeah, I mean, the most impressive thing for me from Judge was the plate discipline
Mm-hmm.
coming off an injury,
Yeah.
and it has to be from like facing Loizaga. Ish, throw him in there with a guy with the absolutely nastiest stuff ever. I guess he's gonna be warmed up, but yeah, he took some crazy pitches, and it's like Stanton. Stanton's going good when he takes those like low and away sliders just off the plate.
Yeah.
Judge coming off an injury is just spitting on everything, and he looked great. And we'll get to this later, but looking at the rest of the roster, I don't think there's a single batter other than Judge that I'd be afraid to trade.
Yeah, everyone is, in my opinion, everyone is tradable. Doesn't matter who it is. Even Aaron Judge, not except for Aaron Judge. Cole Rodon, maybe Volpe. I'll have to wait till next season to see what he can turn into. If he can adjust. If next season he has just as the same type of season he has this year, even though he probably won't have no trade value, I'll be open to moving him. It was a decent game. IKF did, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm too negative, but IKF did play well. He's been hot as of late. DJ is looking like he's coming out of it, but it just might be too late at where we at in the standings when it comes to being in last place. Today, as of today, July 31st. So by the time you guys watch this, we might even be in a bigger hole. But we're 3.5 games out of the final wild card spot, with less than 48 hours to go to the deadline. I just can't see how this team gets better. There's no life in this lineup.
Yeah, my biggest issue was that they waited through the whole Baltimore series,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, I don't even know what the heck they do now, because there's not really much on the market, and I don't think Grichuk or CJ Crone really would have done much. But like, you see that there's a issue,
Mm-hmm.
and you see trouble coming down the road,
Yeah.
and it's like, let's dig ourselves a deeper hole.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think 3.5 games is that big of an issue out of the wild card, and I don't think they could perform worse if they traded players.
No.
So that's why I advocate for such a teardown. And you bring in guys like Pereira,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Florial,
Mm-hmm.
because Bellinger's not on the market. Um, and then Volpe and Peraza up the middle. Hopefully they start to contribute. And maybe DJ at third, but try to move part of DJ, Rizzo, anybody you can. And, maybe give Chaparro a shot. I don't know. There's not much you can do, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. Brian Cashman doesn't really trade very many people from the major league roster.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it'd take like 2 or 3 trades. And each minute that passes by that we get closer to the deadline, it becomes less likely that something like that's going to happen.
Yeah. Now, I kind of wanted to put into perspective why I'm a little like worried about this team. They are 50 and 50, 55 and 50. There's 57 games left this season. At their best, they're a 633 win percentage team. You know, at 57 games, that is only 36 more wins at their best. 36 plus 55. I'm doing the math real quick. It's a 91 win team. With how good the East is, with how much better teams have gotten that's in chase, I'm worried 91 wins is not even enough to get into the dance. And how good the East is, how good the AL is, should I say?
Yeah, I just want to see some exciting baseball. I don't really care for the old guys on the field. Just bringing some youth, um, exciting players. I mean, you there's like three or four guys that should be on the major league roster right now, and there's like eight guys who shouldn't. And then all those guys you can trade. Maybe you get back some pieces that can contribute this year or a year or two down the road, and it puts the organization in a better place financially, and just what they're doing right now is not working. It's like the opposite of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's broke.
It's broke,
Fix
fix
that
it,
shit.
fix it.
All right. Game three. Like I was dreading getting to this game. Last night's game, Severino. The boy got lit up. You know, he gave up 6 runs before he recorded a single out. He looks lost. He's come out in the press conference and said, you know, he feels like he's the worst pitcher in the league right now. Okay, no shit, Sherlock. You probably are. His ERA balloons to 7.49. This is his walk year. He keeps preaching he's healthy. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's lost all confidence, and I really hope we saw the last of Severino as a New York Yankee.
Wow.
Yes.
So I worked until about 7:30 last night, and I went to turn on the game, and it showed the score, and I just turned my phone off and didn't even watch. So, um, hey, Jake Bauers hit a home run. I did see that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Jake Bauers to play first base over Rizzo, which, eh, give me a real slugger at first base. Um, but anyways, I know everybody wants Severino DFA'd.
Yeah,
I
they
would
won't do
not
that.
be against a trade at this point, but you're really not going to get anything.
I don't even
Um,
care.
I just put him in the bullpen.
Like, and I'm hearing, you know, I've seen a lot of content creators saying, you know, who are we gonna get back for these guys? Who are we gonna get back for these guys? Who sound like owls? I don't care what we get back, Tyler. Like you don't like, and I keep saying this in the comments. I keep saying this on other people's shows. I don't care what we get back, bro. Like, we need the roster spots more important than what the fuck we get back. I don't care. They can give us a water cooler that can sit in AAA or single A. They can give us batteries for the remote for the plane for some of these guys. The roster spot is what's important because you know what? The Yankees continue to hug their prospects, right? We can't give up nobody. We can't trade nobody. Then fucking play them. Then play them then. Like, I'm getting to the point where I don't even care if these guys perform good, bad, mediocre, or indifferent. Like, I don't care. We're not gonna trade nobody for nobody. Then play these kids. Play them. I want to see what they can do because for years since 2016, all we keep hearing year after year after year after year is that these guys are going to be good. Volpe's going to be the next coming to Derek Jeter. Wow. You know, Peraza needs working more development, but Volpe's hitting 200 and he gets to develop in the major leagues. You know, Florial is hitting like one of the best AAA seasons in Yankees history, but he can't get a shot to play when you have, you know, you got guys like Billy McKinney or Jake Bauers that are batting the low 200s where he probably does the same thing, but probably has more pop. And you know what? He can just catch the ball. He can play defense. He has a good arm. He got speed. We got
Hmm.
Greg Allen here on this team, bro. Greg Allen. You telling me Greg Allen is better than Estevan Florial?
I like Greg Allen, but I
He has a
agree with
place
you.
in a major league team, but he's a fifth outfielder as at best.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy's a platoon left fielder for us.
It feels like the whole roster is made up of like depth pieces that should be kind of like consolidated into a couple of better players. And I completely agree with you with trading them away is more important than what you get.
Hmm.
However, I was calling for like Luke Voigt, Gio, and Gary Sanchez get traded a couple years ago, but Bonehead Cashman will probably pick up another like Donaldson and IKF,
Yep.
which puts him in a worse spot. So be careful what you wish for.
No, that's we're gonna get to that, but I don't I you know he I don't trust him to make trades, so this is where like it's also frustrating and why I just say, you know what, just bring up the kids. I don't even want you to trade for nobody. Whoever you get back, fine. I don't even want to know what the return is, as long as the roster spot opens up for some of these kids because I don't trust Cashman to make good decisions when it comes to trades. He contradicts himself all the time, and I said that plenty of times. But I just want, at this point, I don't even want major league talent to come onto this team because who he's going to pick is going to hurt us. I want to see these kids. I want to see something exciting on the field. I want to see something like
Yeah, yeah.
the Brewers are doing, something like Cincinnati's doing. Just bring the kids up and just let's see what we got. Let's just see what these kids could turn into. Yes, half of them are probably not going to be good. Granted, cool, but you know what? What about the other half? You know, if Zeke and
Yeah, I mean, I
Deanne,
agree.
go ahead. I'm sorry,
If you
bro.
take center field, left field, third base, and first base and catcher, and going back in the same order, we can put Florial or Pereira in center field, put the other guy in left field, um, Volpe and Peraza up the middle. Maybe put like Candelario on third if you really want to trade for like a lefty hitting third baseman, which I I'm a big proponent of. I really would have liked like Ramirez or Seager, but of course those guys are not available anymore. And then you got to find like a big poppy type, like big lefty first baseman, and then put Wells somewhere because his bat's going to get there.
His
I
bat's
don't care about
there.
his defense.
Yeah, his bat. According to any scout, his bat is there. It's just his defense is waiting to catch up.
Yeah, well, we already have a DH for the next like 5 years, so
Knowing the Yankees, they might extend him. I did have one problem with Aaron Boone yesterday. Well, there's plenty of problems, but my biggest thing is, I was watching the game. Sevy gave up 3 runs, immediately, and I have flashbacks of the 2017 wild card game against the Twins. Sevy did a
okay.
very similar thing. He gave up what is it? A leadoff double, I think it was. Then a
Brian
base hit.
Dozier home run.
Yeah, he get a base hit to score the first run, then a 2-run home run. And Joe Girardi had the quickest hook I've ever seen in my life. As soon as he gave up that home run, I don't even think I forgot who came in, whether it was Nate Robinson. I have to look it up, but someone came in. I don't even think they
I think
fully
it was
warmed.
Robertson.
It was Robinson. I don't even think he fully warmed up. And they gave him the hook. And immediately when we were up 3-0, I'm like, all right, boom, get the bullpen up. Get the bullpen up. And it was 7-0 before you saw any movement, and there was no sense of urgency from Aaron Boone in a must-win series. Like, I think he thinks it's still May, and we still have 120 games in front of us. And Aaron Judge was only gone for a weekend, and this offense is still putting up 5-6 runs per game, and it just to give us we'll get back into this game. Where is the urgency on this team? I don't see it. The bullpen. This is why I can't have Aaron Boone back next year as a manager for the New York Yankees. He plays every game as if there's always a tomorrow, and you know what? We're getting to the point where there's almost no tomorrow. We can't lose any more games.
Yeah, we got to get a guy in that dugout who's going to take all the bats, throw them out on the field like kick dirt on the plate. And don't get me wrong, Boone's got ejected a few times, but it is a very lackadaisical team. I mean, out of context, um, I don't I don't really mind guys like having a good time on the bench because you don't know what they're talking about or and whatever they're doing. But it's a bad look. I'm not gonna like go after the guys for like having a laugh, but you know, I don't think even my like high school coach would have liked that. So
No, any true man would sit there and say, he has to know that his job is secure. Like I can't see any proud person sitting there saying, we are the New York Yankees and we are in last place. The first time this has happened since the early 90s. We are in last place. We have teams that we used to beat up on looking down on us and just putting their necks or their foot on our throats. And we're out here laughing, joking. We're getting beat by teams we should be blowing out the water, and he's just sitting here and not holding none of his team accountable. Like, if that was me, man, there would that Moneyball moment where when
yeah, yeah,
he
when they
goes into
walk in
the
on
he goes into the
Giambi
dugout
dancing.
and he just starts beating everything, the freaking the radio, the water cooler, and it's like, yo, this is how it sounds like to lose. Like, you're playing and you're out there losing. That clubhouse, there's a dynamic in that clubhouse that is definitely going on that's weird. It's not the Yankees, man. This is not the Yankees that I grew up watching. They are too complacent.
Yeah, I mean, they even the Red Sox, who have been in the bottom of the division like the whole year, and they're like a game ahead of the Yankees now. They're shopping their major league players. They're moving guys around. They're planning for the future. They're not wasting time or money, and they've been playing a lot better. And once a guy gets to a certain point, they should be traded. Like I don't know. I don't know what they're doing up in that office. They must be like doing some bad stuff. I don't know.
Alex Cora is a what is the definition of a great manager. If they come back and they continue to rise through the cellar of the division and they secure a decent playoff spot and they go on a run, he's my pick for manager of the year. These guys were horrid to start the season, and they since the All Star break, I believe, and I can fact check this, they have the best record in the MLB since then. And they get and they do this often. They get hot, and Alex Cora knows how to get the most out of his team. He motivates them. Aaron Boone, I don't think he has the clubhouse. People probably like him because he doesn't. They probably get cupcakes after games. They probably get juice boxes. They probably get their feet rubbed. Aaron Boone's probably right now rubbing Aaron Judge's toe right now, just saying, "Come on, baby, please be good. Please be good today against I need you." And that's the type of manager they got. Talking about moves, and this upset me too. Another reason why I'm hot. I don't know if you know this, but I consider just go back a week, 7 days. There have been 15 deals that have been done between teams. Guess how many the Yankees have made in the last week?
Not just the last week, the last year.
No, I'm just talking about the last week. We're in trade deadline mode. Last 7 days, there's been 15 moves. How many moves have the Yankees made the last 7 days?
Zero.
What the dog doing?
Why? What the fuck is Cashman
He's
doing?
trying he's trying to win everything. He's trying to like outsmart everybody. He won't compromise and he tries to trade Glaber and asks for like two rookie pitchers, like two prospect like this guy everybody seems to ask for more from the Yankees and the Yankees seem to ask for more from other teams and there's only like three guys that Cashman will deal with in the league.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, like
and you know what? That's a telling
maybe
sign.
Yeah,
The fact that only it's
he's
only a few handful of trade partners that would work with Brian Cashman because of his ego. The fact that he has to win every single trade. And
when was the last
newsflash,
time he won one?
exactly. Honestly, the last trade that was any decent was Anthony Rizzo, but it's still currently not. It's a horrible re-signing. The trade was good. The re-signing has been horrible.
Yeah,
And
I
it
mean,
and before that, when was the his best trade of all time is Alex Rodriguez. That's it. Everything else has been horrible. Every other trade.
yeah, I mean, would have loved Matt Olson. He's got like 34 home runs right now.
Yeah, but we
It's
couldn't
like,
give up Volpe or Peraza for
oh
Olsen.
no, what'd they get? Like Christian Pache?
Yeah, I think they got the top. They got one, two, and three. Um, they got one, two, and three from Oakland. I mean, from the Braves,
Yeah,
and then
when was
like
the last
and then a
time one of these
couple a
prospects like?
couple top 20 or top 10.
Yeah, when was the last time one of these prospects like turned into something other than like Judge, which was like 2016?
But that's another thing. A lot of people bring that up. Well, the Yankees developed Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge developed Aaron Judge. He has his own hitting coach. He has his own um, uh, strength and conditioning coach. He has his own doctors. Like my man does not do anything within the Yankees organization besides use their facility during the season. Off season, my man has his own facilities. He has his own people on staff. If Aaron Judge didn't go that route, Aaron Judge would be another Gary Sanchez, another Luke Voigt, another failed prospect that would never have turned into who he is. This man is smart. He identified that this organization does not do well with developing players, and he said, "I'm gonna go and find my path, my way." I would love Aaron Judge to sit there and be like, "Listen, my hitting coach is up for grabs, and Sean Casey doesn't want the job next season." But the Yankees would not let Aaron Judge's coach anywhere in the facility. He's banned from all of their training facilities.
Wow. Let's get talking about some trades.
Yeah, that's all. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, this team is so frustrating. Do you want to talk about trades that already happened the last week, or do you want to just get into what the Yankees can do?
Let's talk about what has happened so far.
I got the list here, all 15 trades. I'm gonna start with the first one. The Dodgers has been very active. They acquired Kiki Hernandez from the Red Sox for Nick Robinson and Justin Hangman.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he gets comfortable back in
Hmm.
Dodgers blue. He was good during the playoffs on the Red Sox a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny, the Dodgers keep acquiring these guys who are like Ahmed Rosario and Kike who are like doing garbage, and maybe they'll do good, who knows? But it's like the Yankees should be on the other side of those trades, giving up those guys who've been trash. They got a whole lineup of them.
See, this is why I can never be mad at the Dodgers, the Padres, the Red Sox, certain teams that yeah, the deal might not have worked, but it's not because there's a lack of trying. The Dodgers every single season are looking for the best talent free agent. They're looking for the best talent in trades. They are constantly working to retool their team and they're moving pieces, acquiring pieces, DFAing people. This team that has is scared to pull the trigger for anything. Let's continue. Red Sox acquire Lavaria from the Giants for Marquez Johnson, a prospect. I'm not too familiar with Marciato Lavaria. The Mariners acquired Trent Thornton from the Blue Jays for Mason McCoy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Mariners and the Blue Jays make a trade every like couple of days. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing in DePito, Jerry from the Mariners in to make some trades for the Yankees. Um, but it's funny, like the same teams always make trades with each other, like the Mariners and Blue Jays, the Marlins and Twins again, the Dodgers and the Guardians, and it's the same teams every time. But yeah, Next one is Jorge Lopez to the Twins
Yep.
for Dylan Floro. Jorge Lopez was good last year on the Orioles. I don't think he was doing too good on the Twins this year, so kind of a change of scenery
Yeah.
buying into Dylan Floro there. I don't know how he's been this year, but just a reliever for a reliever, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Uh, Ahmed Rosario for Noah Syndergaard.
That
That
was
was,
interesting.
yeah, that was different. Um, I'm surprised that the Guardians traded Ahmed Rosario, but once again, they realize when guys are about to
Decline.
either decline or make more money than they're worth,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, we got another guy coming up behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they did. They either are going to push over Andres Jimenez to shortstop, where he'll do fantastic. And I think they either had a second base or shortstop prospect who was ready and waiting. So they are taking a risk on Syndergaard and cash, but I believe he's on a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think he has
they're
an option
pitching.
for next year, but I think it's a mutual option. But they need the Guardians need help on the pitching side, and the Central is open for grabs. You know, it's they I think they're 500, but they're only what two and a half games out. Let me look at the standings. The last time I looked,
Yeah, they're close to there.
but yeah, they need the pitching help, and you know the Central's wide open. The Guardians are half a game back. They're 500. So they get a couple pieces, a couple arms. You know, Noah Syndergaard has, you know, he's pitched decent down the stretch last year. You know, he can probably do the same thing. It's a good trade. The Guardians need the help. Ahmed Rosario is probably going to do great in Dodger Blue. Good luck to both of them. But the Dodgers are always doing something to get better. Let's go
Is
on
there a
to
way?
the Angels trade because this one was interesting too.
Is there a way for the Yankees to trade themselves to the AL Central so maybe they can win a couple of games and run away with the division?
I mean, even then, you know, they'll find a way to screw that out too.
Yeah, big trade by the Angels here.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez for, I believe, the Angels' number one or number two prospect at catcher.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if the Angels are going to go for it, it's now or never. So this is a pretty big time deal, and the Angels weren't done there, and I'm sure they'll probably pull off something else. But
Yeah.
they they love their kind of expensive, like middle aged players. But
I
this
mean,
should
Lucas Giolito, like, you know, all respect, you know, he's not that as bad as he's been. He hasn't had a good team around him. You know, with Shohei there, with you know Trout coming back, Rodon coming back. You know, their offense is not as bad as the White Sox offense, and the White Sox has some names that they're just underperforming year after year, which is disappointing. But that's an interesting move for him. He's a better pitcher than his record and his stats show.
yeah, I read it. I read the trade breaking, and I thought it said Dodgers first time through because I was pretty sure the Dodgers going to get Giolito, but this is a pretty big deal for the Angels, and
Yeah.
it should pay off. I think. I mean, they're right around the Yankees. They got to jump the probably like the Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays to make it to the playoffs, but
Mm-hmm.
they're hot.
Yeah.
They're doing well.
And Shohei's
Next
looking like
one,
he's gonna possibly contend with Judge's 62.
that's crazy. He's very good. And so on July 27th, we got the Brewers acquiring Carlos Santana, who seems to have been traded every deadline for the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, he's a decent player still, not great.
Mm.
I mean, the Brewers always need offense, so he'll fill a role, but I mean, it's not that big of a trade just for one minor leaguer. I'm not sure where he ranks, but nice little pickup for the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers are only a half game back. You know, I'm sure they're thinking, you know, if they can get a big bat, you know, get a couple extra wins going down the stretch, Maybe they can make a push and get that and dethrone the Reds. He has that veteran presence. He's done it. He's been there. His career is past him, but he's still got pop in the bat. It's just bat speed is slowed down. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
The Mets fire sale. Let's do this one because the Mets have been selling everybody.
I don't blame them. That's a smart decision to make. They're saving they're either going to go at a run for Shohei or Soto, and now they have the extra wiggle room to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was interesting. The Marlins picking up David Robertson. I was pretty convinced that the Yankees would get him for the fifth time around, but um, apparently the Mets got two decent prospects.
And everyone was trying to sit there and with this David Robertson trade. They were trying to use it as a comp for Gleyber Torres of what they will potentially get back. And to be honest with you, they're bananas and oranges. They're apples and oranges, two different things. A pitcher
Yeah,
on the wrong side of 30 with a year and a half control is not the same as a 27-year-old, probably a top 5 second baseman in the league at what he's going to return. So when I immediately saw this break, the first thing I thought of is what is Brian Cashman to get for what the Marlins gave up? What the heck is wrong with Brian Cashman? Like, we don't need bullpen arms. Like, David Robinson is not a closer that we can be using right now. Do you feel comfortable with Clay Holmes in a wild card game? I don't.
better than the rest of the guys they got.
I don't feel comfortable with him. I would rather like David Robinson, knowing that Cole goes 7, you got a 1-0 lead. I'd rather him in the ninth than Clay Holmes.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the playoffs right now. We gotta
You got to
gotta
get
make it
there.
through the regular season.
Dodgers continue to add pitching. They acquire Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly from the White Sox. That was another big
Yeah,
move. I didn't think Lance
yeah.
Lynn was going to be on the move.
Lance Lynn has a 7 ERA, but I'm sure he'll pitch better for the rest of the year in that situation. Joe Kelly goes back to the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know if it's a win-win, but it's not a dumb trade by any means. But um, it was funny. The Dodgers, in getting Joe Kelly, they DFA'd a reliever on their team who had a 2.5 ERA.
It be like that sometimes, and you. This is what I mean, where they are comfortable making hard decisions while the Yankees aren't. You know, and look, watch Brian Cashman go at when that guy clears waivers. When he's available on waivers, watch the Brian Cashman pick him up and say, there goes our trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah, you're on one today.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I told you before in backstage, I'm hot today. Today's not the day for me. Astros
Okay.
acquire Kendall Graveman for catcher Corey Lee. You
Pretty
know,
sure Corey Lee was pretty highly regarded by the Astros and overall as a prospect. So this is kind of surprising for 2 months of Kendall Graveman, who's not the cheapest reliever, I believe, salary wise.
hmm
But I mean, if you're going for it, you got to go for it. And 1-for-1 with a prospect probably won't derail your
no,
outlook.
they're over here thinking they're gonna be the first team since the 2000 Yankees to repeat. So they're going for it, and I'm worried that Cody. I'm on record, and I'm gonna say this again: if the Astros acquire Cody Bellinger, they're gonna repeat. Mark my words, they will repeat because that's all they're missing. Another bat, a couple more bullpen pieces.
Well, that's good then, because Cubs aren't selling Cody Bellinger. So
Well, they also the Padres also said they wasn't going to sell Juan Soto, and apparently they're listening to offers. So until the trade deadline passes and a player is not moved, in my mind, I don't believe anything front office say. Everyone's available until that trade deadline passes.
okay.
Rangers acquire Max Scherzer for Ronald Acuna's little brother. That was another another interesting trade. The Rangers are going for it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rangers GM, Chris Young, played for the Rangers, Mariners, a couple other teams. Real big right-handed starting pitcher.
Mm.
It's kind of interesting to see a ex-player in the GM role. But yeah, he's going for it, man. This trade, Max Scherzer and Verlander jumping around, kind of like really old Verlander, not Verlander, really old Clemens and Johnson when they
Yeah,
like played for the Yankees and then a couple other teams at the end of their career. Um, yeah, but that's a big move, and they get him again for next year, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah,
I
maybe
think Big Max might do well in Texas.
yeah, probably. Like we talked about that one time, the roof might might give him a little break, and I think it's funny the Mets have are going to be bullied by Ronald Acuna for the next decade. Now
Oh
they're
man,
trying to get their own.
yeah. I don't think he's gonna be as good as his big brother, but
Yeah, well,
remains
that's
to be
like
seen.
a
Yeah.
that's a dream.
But yeah, I think Big Mac's gonna do good at Texas. They also, I don't want to jump, but they did also acquire another big arm. They're scary, man. They have an offense that is vintage, Oakland A's style, vintage Yankees, big bats, power. They got some speed. All they're missing is really that pitching, and they went and got it this offseason, but guys got hurt. So now they're supplementing. And then imagine DeGrom coming back and Scherzer, say he returns next season. That can be an interesting one too. If
It's
they
like
can
the
stay
Mets were
healthy.
trying to do.
Yeah, if they can stay healthy, it could be really interesting in Texas.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I'm just glad the Yankees aren't betting all their pennies on a couple of 40-year-old starting pitchers. That would be a Yankees thing to do, but
watch them get Justin Verlander to keep him away from Houston. That's another thing that's circulating that Houston wants
yeah,
Verlander back.
I feel he's gonna go to the Astros. So
Telling you.
the Yankees don't want to take on any money.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. They eventually they really don't want to go over that luxury tax, and I don't blame Hal. To be honest with you, if I was Hal and I have a 280 plus $290 million payroll, why would I add money to this dumpster fire? Like why would I spend another dime past what I'm already spending with a mediocre team? This team over the last 200 games, they're 101 and 99. This team is not good with or without Aaron Judge. This team is not good. So I wouldn't spend money either. So I don't blame him. And you can't say this guy is cheap for one not wanting to go over $300 million. We should not have to spend that amount of money to win.
Yeah, I think they should really consider trying to shed some salary
Hmm.
and like say you can shed enough from DJ LeMahieu and you can get a guy like Bellinger. That's a decent little swap there, but I think Bellinger, if he keeps at this pace, is going to get paid a lot more than he's worth. But we'll see.
So we on
What's
to
the
the
next
last
trade?
day. Yeah, we're on to the last day. Yesterday was very active. Start with the Blue Jays.
Who'd they get?
They acquire Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals for right-handed pitchers Sem Roberse and Adam Klovenstein.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about Jordan Hicks. I believe he has like 85 walks per nine or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been walking the heck out of people. He does throw really fast. Maybe I don't know. But he has like a 4 or 5 year ERA out of the bullpen. Really
The Yankees
wild.
can hit high velocity. We
Yeah.
got senior citizens in our lineup, so it's a smart move for the East. Jordan Hicks. Probably to like I don't know, like the Dodgers probably wouldn't make sense, but to the Blue Jays or the Red Sox, it kind of does make sense because the East, a few teams in the East can't hit high velocity. So I can see it being a decent trade for them.
Yeah.
They didn't give up too much
Yeah.
either for him.
Yeah, it's a fine trade. There's no issue with that.
So former New York Yankee Jordan Montgomery is now in Texas, along with his buddy Chris Stratton, for Thomas Sagasi, Ruby, and John King. So Jordan
I
Montgomery is in a spot where he can win a ring.
Yeah, I know John King is not very good. I'm not sure about the other two guys, but I feel
Hmm.
like the Rangers actually pulled off a little bit of a heist here.
I think so too. I know Jordan Montgomery is a rental. They can possibly, try him out before they talk, extension or re-sign him in the offseason. I really think he's going to do well in Texas.
Yeah,
It seems like Texas is picking up a lot of Yankees, ex-Yankees. You have a Aroldis Chapman, you got him, you got Ezekiel Durant. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but it'll come to me when I'm thinking about it. But they're putting together they're retooling a rotation that was a little bit suspect, and now with Scherzer, now with Montgomery, can they compete? In a 3-game set against and what's the wild card looking like right now?
it's Houston and Toronto and Tampa,
Yeah, so they'll
I
move
think.
they'll move directly into a ALDS. So can they? Do you really think with their additions? Do you think that they can compete in a 5-game series with Scherzer and Montgomery as the heads?
Probably, man. I mean, it stinks that Evaldi just went down with,
Mm-hmm.
I think, an elbow issue or something like
Yeah.
that. Especially because he's on my fantasy team. He was carrying, but I think he probably will be back before the playoffs. So if you think Scherzer, Evaldi, and Montgomery, it's pretty valid right there.
Yeah, that's intimidating. You could put Montgomery in between them to split up the righties. That could be interesting. You
And
can.
then Heen Dog,
Yeah.
I think that's who you were thinking of.
Yeah. There we go. Yes. Sorry.
It's
So
all
the
right.
Braves, they do a small trade, Nicky Lopez for Taylor Helm. Nothing too crazy, it's just more depth. The Angels
Yeah,
acquire J.C. Cron and Randall Grichuk. That was an interesting one because I didn't think Cashman was gonna let Grichuk off the hook like that, and it really seems like this man is not doing anything.
yeah. Apparently they didn't even talk to the Rockies, which I didn't want Grichuk either way.
Yeah, me
But
neither. But
it's funny. The Angels just keep acquiring these like weird righty bats, like
hmm
Renfro, like Rendon, a couple other guys. They like this certain type of player, but it's going to help them out.
yeah,
I feel like they have way too many outfielders now, but uh, it's not a bad issue to have. They right now they got C.J. Cron slated for first base. They got Renfro in right field, Moniak left field,
hmm
Grichuk for center. Apparently, I'd probably put Grichuk in left field and Moniak in center field. I know Grichuk isn't very good at defense, but we'll see what the Angels put out there.
yeah. They're going for it. They have an opportunity to make a little run with Otani to show him that they're serious about winning. And they didn't pay too much for them either. So this is what
It's
gets
like a
me.
salary dump.
Yeah, this is what gets me like a little bit upset. Where like, you know, if you saw like massive overpays for some of these guys, then I'm like, okay, I understand Cashman not picking up the phone, but some of these deals are lopsided in the buyer's favor, and it's just like, what is this guy doing? And I want to get into like our potential trade talks, the Yankees potential trade talks. We are less than 48 hours away from the deadline. There's reports out there that the Marlins are extremely interested in Gleyber Torres. The fan base on Twitter, from what I'm gauging, is almost down the middle, 50-50. People are saying We're crazy for even entertaining the idea of trading our best offensive player. Then you have people like me where I will pack Torres bags myself. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm on your side of the table. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm.
I the Yankees still had their infield long jam, and I was like, 2022, Luke Voigt, Joe Urshela should be gone, and then I said 2023 offseason Glaber should be gone. Um, they just they have like 6 or 7 infielders for like 4 spots. I know Glaber's been the best hitter,
Mm-hmm.
not named Judge this year.
Yeah.
Um, but he's really limited to second base, and if you can kind of redistribute the wealth, I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah, so my thinking, so I can explain it because people think I'm absolutely batshit crazy for saying that I want to trade Gleyber Torres. It's really like 2 or 3 reasons. One, he's lazy, and to be honest with you, him, Gary Sanchez, and Gio Urshela. I understand why Brian Cashman had to separate the three because apparently according to reports these guys would just be in the hotel room playing video Call of Duty and video games until like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they'll have a day game at 1. So they weren't putting in the work behind the scenes. So I understand that there's just a trade. Who he decided to trade with was horrible. So that's one of the reasons why I'm okay with getting rid of Torres too. When I picture the dog pile for 2023 or 2024, winning that, whatever, say game 6 of a World Series, I don't see Gleyber Torres as a part of that dog pile. I don't see him as a winner. He's too lackadaisical. He's too Robinson Cano-ish. He prefers flash than just like form, if that makes sense. He he is a good hitter, but his bat is it's not Aaron Judge level. It is not what Stanton can be. It's not what Rizzo can be, or even DJ LeMahieu. He is a 6 hole guy. He's a 7 hole guy. He's a good hitter, but he's not a great hitter, if that makes sense. And in my opinion, I think Oswald Peraza long term, maybe not this year, maybe next year when he gets the consistent reps he needs. I think his bat is very comparable to Gleyber Torres at such a cheaper price. So if you can get a deal done for the guy and get him moved, I will pack his bags myself so that we can give Oswald Peraza the opportunity to find out if he's any good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you, and I really look at, I know he's been the second best hitter on the team, but if you look at, I'm trying to pull it up here. If you look at the stats of like the Rays and the Rangers here, they have, come on, got to get rid of these ads. They got one, two. How does Marcus Simeon have an OPS under 800? Three, four, five, six. They have 6 players with an OPS over 800. Same thing with the Rays here. Probably not as much now that they've been on a cold streak, but they got 903, 860, 804, 792, 793, 887. So you have all these guys with the OPS over like 850.
Yeah.
I look at the Yankees lineup, and other than Judge, I want to upgrade all of those bats because, like, I don't think a World Series winner has like 6 guys, if that. The Yankees don't even have this. Like 6 guys with like a 105 OPS plus,
No.
like 5% better than league averages at World Series caliber.
No, it's mediocre. It's a middle of the pack team. This is if you rank all 30 clubs, this team is, middle of the pack, 15, 14, 16, 17, depending on the day. You know, I would move him. If you can get value, this is probably the only trade, this and maybe a Harrison Bader trade are probably the only 2 trades where I'm like, all right, I'm concerned about what I get back, because you have his replacement, so you don't have to worry about that. You know, with either Peraza or DJ LeMahieu, you're not losing anything defensively at second base. The bat, maybe. So this is where you want to either pull from an area of strength, which is your pitching depth, or maybe your your infield depth, to help you with the outfield. If you can get an outfielder for Gleyber Torres, great. If you can get a really good arm, whether that's a starting pitcher or maybe a top of the end closer or bullpen piece, maybe an 8 or 9 inning guy, I would pull that trigger. You have his replacement. There's this is like one of those redundant things where you're not going to give the man $125 million. You're only going to lose value as you wait to get closer to when he becomes a free agent. Just get rid of him now. We should have done it in the offseason. We didn't. Now everyone is, but we can't trade him. Dude, move on. Move on from him.
Yeah,
Did you see? Go
I'd
ahead.
like bundle him with like maybe like Clark Schmidt or something like that to get something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, I just trade guys separately for prospects, and if you really want to buy big on somebody, then you don't have to use all of those
Your
other
guys.
prospects that you have
Mm-hmm.
that you love and are going to be Derek Jeter 2.0.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. I have maybe 2 or 3 minor leaguers in my mind that are untouchable. I would say maybe Spencer Jones, maybe Jason Dominguez, and maybe Everson Pereira. Other than that, everyone is open for game. Is open. What are your thoughts? Who are your two or
I don't
three
believe in
guys?
untouchable. The only reason why I would call them untouchable now is for how bad the major league roster has been and that there's like an actual spot for them. Um, Thinking about Dominguez, I'm just worried that being a switch hitter, I think we I think we talked about this a tiny bit before,
Mm-hmm.
but he has to do double the amount of work,
Yeah,
and apparently he has a much better lefty swing, and he faces righties a lot more, so maybe he just turns into a lefty or something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I love seeing Pereira go off in the minors. It's giving me like those Peraza vibes from like May or June when he was
Mm-hmm.
going off. And I don't think he'd be any worse than like Bader. So, I
I
mean,
I agree.
I wish this were MLB The Show and I could just clean house, but
Yeah,
they're my biggest fear is staying stagnant. I don't want to watch the same team for the next 2.5 months. I'm just gonna not watch or throw away the TV or something.
no, if it, as a as now we're content creators, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm not going to watch any games if Brian Cashman doesn't make any moves. That'll be contradictory to what we're trying to do here. But I'll tell you one thing: I would not be happy, and I'll be very, very upset every episode that we do. But yeah, I guess I agree with you where no one should be untouchable. It's just certain guys at this point where we're like we hug them too much. Where I just want to see what they can do as a Yankee. I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Julian in the pipe. He said that just like what you said, he has to work on two swings, and they think that he needs to take the Bernie William approach to switch hitting, where the power came from the left side, and then on the right side, just focus on making contact. Don't worry about the power. Just be an average guy on the right side and shoot for the power on the left side, which makes sense if you're especially in your Yankee Stadium with the right field porch. That's the perfect approach, if in my opinion.
Yeah, that could work out. He looked amazing in spring training,
He's been
and
hot in July.
yeah, he's starting to figure it out down there. So we'll see. They'll uh, they'll hoard him down there for the next 3 years, and then he'll have no value.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to something that blew my mind last night. After that horrible performance from Luis Severino, apparently, I'm still looking to you know, I'm still looking to verify it from multiple sources because you see it from one guy, but you want to kind of see it from 2, 3, or 4 guys before you start to really believe in it. But I figure it's fair to bring it up. Apparently, teams are interested in Luis Severino. Why? What are your thoughts on
Uh,
that?
his stuff looks. I mean, I didn't see how he pitched yesterday, but usually his stuff has been fine. It's just I don't know what's up with him. So maybe teams think they can fix him. Um, I don't know. Maybe they think he's a reliever. I don't think the Yankees will try to package him as a reliever because
Hmm.
he's not going to get anything, nor will he. He, my man has lost himself like $50 million at
Yeah,
least in free agency.
I would say more because I don't see anyone giving him a multi-year deal. He'll have to do one of those prove it deals next year. And I can't see anyone giving him 20 plus, for prove it. Yeah, he's probably going to get like 15 to 18, I would think max, to prove it.
Yeah, the Yankees would like waste a qualifying offer on him or something.
Nah, they can't do it. If they do a qualifying, or if he's going to take it, and I don't want them to offer it. That's why I want them to trade him. So because if you're traded in the midseason, no team has to worry about the qualifying offer thing. So that's why I'm just hoping just trade the man. No team has to worry about it, and they can just see if they can write him.
Mm,
Garrett Cole has an opt out after next season. We talked about it a little bit. I wanted to get your takes on the potential that our ace might sit here and say this team is too much of a is too inconsistent, and he's not getting younger. His opportunity to win is closing. Our window is closing with him. What are your thoughts on the potential that the big guy might opt out?
well, it really depends on what happens over the next year and a half. It's really too early to say.
Mm,
Um, I mean, if it was this year, if the opt out was at the end of this year, then he'd have a really interesting conversation to have. But I mean, I think he enjoys New York.
yeah.
I don't know if it's like got to him or anything. He's playing well, and he definitely would cash in after this year if he keeps up this pace. For
Mm,
sure, he would opt out and make.
more money.
I mean, he's already at like 36 mil per year. So,
And he
I
can push
mean,
that 40. You never know.
after Shohei sets the precedent for contracts, maybe he'll
Mm.
have some more leverage.
And I
I
could
don't
see
know.
teams doing that because now it won't have to be a 10-year deal. He'll be what, 34, 33? Let me double check. He might be his opt out.
Oh,
So while I look that up,
32.
he'll be 32 in his opt out. There we go. Thank you. The Yankees have pending free agents after this season, which I think are all prime candidates that need to be sold if they can. And like I said, guys, in the comments, you guys can say it all you want. Who are you guys going to get for them? I don't care who we get for any of these players. My mindset is let's open up the roster, the 26-man roster spot for some of these kids. So I'm gonna name some of these guys, and you tell me what you think. Josh Donaldson, we know no one's gonna trade for him. He's a DFA candidate if he ever returns as a Yankee. Luis Severino, Frankie Montas, IKF, Harrison Bader, or Wandy Peralta are all free agents after this season. Do you think any of them are movable?
I think they're all movable except for Montas,
Mm,
and I'd wait on him because he's been injured for the last however long, and he could take up that 4 or 5 spot in like
mm.
September, and I wouldn't mind just seeing what he has.
Yeah, at this point, man, I don't think we can get any worse. We already have Severino that is stinking up the joint, and we got Montas for a year and a half of control, and we haven't seen him at all. So I wouldn't mind either if he comes back late August, and we get a full month. Frankie, probably get 4 starts, 5 starts, and just kind of see what he can do. To see if he, and apparently the shoulder's still barking even after the surgery. So
Oh boy.
yeah, it's never ending.
Hmm.
So I'm with you on. I will move every single one of them. I know Josh Donaldson we can't move, but if we can move, Sevy, IKF. I know IKF has been great for us. My man can play every position in the infield, outfield. He can catch and he can pitch if need be. There's value there. Harrison Bader is always hurt, but you know what? I think a team would take a chance on him, especially what he did last year in the postseason. He's shown that he does have a clutch gene in him. And then Wandy Peralta, man, this guy looked gassed every time he's out. I don't know if you can get much for him, but I would get whatever I can. If I can get a low A guy for Wandy, I would do it. And give Brito, Vasquez, Beater, some of these other guys opportunities to see what they can do.
Yeah, I agree.
2025, this is where things get interesting. And this is where I think Brian Cashman needs to start thinking about being creative. You have a year and a half of control for some of these guys. They probably will bring you back a little bit more value, even though some of these guys are not that valuable. But say if they bring you a low A throw in that you could roll the dice on. With Garrett Cole's opt out, you can consider him possibly a 2025 free agent. So maybe that could be enticing to a team, knowing if he's going to opt out. Anthony Rizzo, Tommy Kahnle, Lou Trevino, which is injured, which would probably be impossible to move. Johnny Loaziga is on his way back, which might also be very hard to move. Gleyber Torres, the man of the hour. We both know how we feel about him. The Germans, the German Sunday, Domingo Herman, and Kyle Higashioka. All free agents after the 2025 season. What are your thoughts? You think we can move any of these guys?
I would keep Cole, Kahnle, Trevino, and Loizica for now. I mean, those three relievers you can think about moving next trade deadline.
Okay.
But Rizzo and Torres and Higashioka can get traded, and as well as Domingo. I think this is kind of that value spot where you could actually still kind of get something for them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should wait. And yeah, but we are about 27 hours from the trade deadline, and still nothing.
Not a single move. Not
And
even an inkling of what this guy's doing. What the fuck is
we're
Brian
just going to be
Cashman
sitting
doing?
here, and everybody's like, "Oh, Cashman moves in silence. He's cooking up something."
No, he's not. Watch, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something so horrendous. He's gonna trade for Wilson Contreras. He's gonna not trade Gleyber Torres because he's gonna say that the Marlins will not meet our price. He's not going to address left field. He's going to say Cody Bellinger or Juan Soto was not available, and that Aaron Judge coming back is just as good as a trade line acquisition. And he's going to do something crazy like trade for Justin Verlander to keep him away from Houston, and then say we have the best 1-2-3 punch in baseball with Cole, Rodon, and Justin Verlander as a 1-2-3, and we're gonna take our chances in the wild card and roll the dice.
Offense, offense. Give me some offense.
What the dog doing?
Oh my god.
You what?
Give me some offense.
Um.
Give me. I mean, the like. It would take right now like Yordan Alvarez and Juan Soto for this offense to be better.
And watch, this is gonna release. Everyone that's watching, this is gonna release August 1st, August 2nd, which is gonna be the day after the trade deadline. So imagine us looking so damn stupid, and he actually does stuff that will help this team, and then we just look like assholes. But I'm willing to take that risk because I don't trust Cashman.
I don't care. I'll be happy when it happens, but until then,
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. We're at that point of the show, Tyler. Sorry, you gonna say something?
yeah, they everywhere is saying that they're going to do a little bit of buying and selling. They're running out of time to do anything.
Yeah.
Because you're always sitting there with a countdown for the trade deadline to happen, and like last year, actually something happened when they traded Montgomery and for Bader, which was interesting. And I really thought they were going to go get like Rodon after that, and that's what I was sitting there waiting for, but nothing happened.
Yeah,
and Cashman's not going to like be impulsive last second and make some trade where he hasn't definitely won. So
yeah. Apparently, and this is weird that he made the Jordan Montgomery trade because he had Pablo Lopez lined up, and I don't know what possessed him to pull the trigger on Montgomery before you solidified the deal with Pablo Lopez, and apparently they wanted Gleyber Torres to be thrown in on the deal to make the Pablo Lopez deal work. I wouldn't even be mad with Pablo Lopez, but you know, Cashman does that too often, where he makes bad trades look worse by not completing the trade, if that makes sense. Like if he would have gotten Bader and Pablo Lopez, last season could have been probably tremendously different. You probably could have won a game because you didn't have to have what's his name pitch game one. Why am I blinking? Was it J Happ that pitched game one in the ALCS? Not Happ.
that was years ago.
No, hold on.
Against the Astros.
Yeah,
Or
against the
against,
Astros last year. That was
I think it was either Severino or
no, it wasn't. It was what's his name?
Cortez.
Where are you? Jameson Tyone. Why couldn't I? Why couldn't I remember Jameson Tyone? But imagine instead of having Jameson Tyone pitch that game, Pablo Lopez started the game.
Yeah, they still had no offense, just like this year.
The roof is open, Tyler. The roof is open, bro.
Oh yeah.
The
I
fuck? Why
remember
don't you
that.
understand the roof? It was 102 miles per hour down the right field line, but it was only 85 down the left field line. How is that a home run?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm being sarcastic.
I don't know.
All right, we're at that point of the show where we have a game
Against.
Okay, so we're against it. So last night, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about the Sevy because we talked about it in nauseum. Let's talk about the decision for Aaron Boone to sit Aaron Judge in a must-win series in a pivotal rubber game. Instead of saying, you know what, Judge, let's play you today and let's sit you tomorrow to start the series against the Rays because we need to win this series. Are you a for or against this decision?
I don't get it. Kind of, but I'm for it because judges everything at this point, and you don't need him to break down again. So yeah, I'm for it, and plus, I don't know how much Judge would have helped when you're down 7-0 in the first inning.
Hindsight's 2020,
Of
but
course,
but I'm glad that you said for because this is real easy for me to rebut. But do you think that team would feel a little bit better going into the top of the second with with Judge in the number 2 hole, with knowing that they're up 6 runs, 7 runs, that Judge will get more fastballs to hit? It's perspective. Like it's one of those situations where, like you said, you don't want Judge to get hurt again. We're at that point where if he says that he can go out and play, he needs to play. We have 57 games left in the season. There is no sitting 10 out of those 57 for Aaron Judge going down the stretch. That is like 10 automatic losses. You know what I'm saying? That if you want to go that route, I'd rather secure the series and start Aaron Judge on the bench with saying, all right, let's take our shots with game 1 in a new series versus let's punt the rubber game where we can potentially take this series, take the series, take the season series against Baltimore, because who knows what happens towards the end, and what if there's a tiebreaker? Now we lost the season series against Baltimore. If we would have won this series, I honestly could have sat there and said, you know what, I'm not scared of Baltimore. Because even if we match up against them in the ALDS or wild card game, I'm not really scared of anyone in the East. But the way that this team is playing, and they're continuing to have this downward spiral, any team can beat us. And I just don't agree with the decision. If he says he can play, he should be playing every day. If he gets hurt, we're probably not gonna make the playoffs anyway with him at 80, 70%. We might as well just run him out there, just like we will run G out there, knowing he's gonna get hurt. You know, we're at that point of the season. There is no return. There is no going back. There is no more Aprils and Mays and Junes to save us. We're in August, bro.
I need a prediction from you real quick.
Okay.
I just saw on Twitter that Johnny Brito has a locker room at the Yankees game tonight. So
who was supposed to pitch tonight? Who was the probable?
It was crap, I didn't even look.
No, I'm looking now. What was the probable for tonight? The probable was Herman. Ooh, that would make sense. Maybe we traded the German Sunday.
People are thinking it's either a IL stent for Sevy traded, or I guess you could. You gotta think pitching, but who knows?
Yeah,
maybe it probably isn't as dramatic as you think. It's probably when did they take Severino out last night? Like the third inning, probably.
Yeah.
So they probably just need like a long reliever or something.
Yeah, but there would be a corresponding move that goes with it because they don't have room and there's no double header scheduled for a 27th man. Let me see transactions.
They haven't announced it yet.
Yeah, look, today the Yankees have signed free agent Trent Sellers, free agent Aaron Nixon, and they signed second baseman Rock Riggio. See, here goes our deadline acquisition, guys. You heard it here first. Yeah, I would think there's a move happening. If he has a locker, there's something happening. And it wouldn't surprise me if Herman goes. I wouldn't be mad at that. Because you have to think about it. You have Herman going tonight. You have Rodon going on what's today? Tuesday.
Today's Monday.
And then we have Cole going on Wednesday. None of those guys are going nowhere. It might be Sevy or Herman. It's gonna be Sevy or Herman. Either injury, like you said, an injury stint, or maybe one of them got traded.
Yeah,
or in the works of being traded.
Let's see. I think we should go live tomorrow around maybe like that hour around the deadline.
Yeah, I'm planning to be back in the studio like around I want to say 4, so we can probably go like right before it ends, probably to that last hour. But yeah,
I think it's at 6.
Yeah, it ends at 6, so we could probably shoot for 5:30. You guys hear it here first. We can shoot for 5:30.
I took off from work. I usually work at 6:30, so
yeah, I might cut all this out.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, it's all good. Guys, thank you for another episode, Tyler. Thank you for another episode.
Thank you, Gio. Maybe
I know
we'll have something positive to talk about next time.
I know. I was the Debbie Downer of the show this week, but that's just my frustration as a Yankee fan. I live and die this team. It's the only sport I watch religiously, so a baseball season means a lot to me. And seeing it go the way that it's going right now is very frustrating. But Tyler, thank you for a great episode. Everyone, if you made it this far, you're a GOAT. Please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment below. And we'll see you guys on the next episode next week. Hopefully we have some better news for you guys.
Yep, hopefully we have Juan Soto.
Pipe dream. But I will love them. Guys, peace.
Peace.
Aaron Judge! Aaron Judge! Aaron Judge!